My dear students, so in the previous class, we had derived the differential equation for the simple harmonic motion. That is when a spring with a particular mass was oscillating, it was creating a wave, and we had written on the wave equation in the differential form. So it was the second order differential equation. So today we are going to solve that second order differential equation that we have visualized there, and that differential equation then we are going to solve to convert this into the sinusoidal wave. So naturally you cannot visualize that second order differential equation in terms of the sinusoidal wave, that is in terms of your angular frequency. So this is what we are going to look into, so that we can really understand how it is going to create the sinusoidal wave or the cosine wave, or whether it is the combination of both the sine wave and cos wave, because you must be knowing that it also give you certain phase. So from where the phase has come, so we'll also try to understand the phasor relation that is embedded in that equation. So now let us start with. Now therefore we are going to see the solution of the differential equation of SHM that we have already derived. So what we have seen there in the previous class, that the second order differential equation for a spring system with a mass which is oscillating, that is given by d square x upon dt square plus k by m into x is equal to 0. This is the differential equation that we have already derived using the Hooke's law and the Newton's second law of motion. So the solution of the above equation can be given as xt. So here you have got the value of x, and x does mean the position. So what is this value of x? What it does represent? So here x, which is variable with the time t, can be given as a cos 2 pi by t in 2 pi by capital T, where capital T is your time period into t, and 2 pi by t is nothing, is your omega naught angular frequency. So we can write this as equal to a cos omega naught into t. So this is the value of x that we are writing. Is it correct? So that we require to verify whether it is really correct or not. Can we really write this x equal to a cos omega naught t, where omega naught is equal to, naturally if you see your equation number 1, so it should be coming as equal to root under k by m, and this is what I had told you in the previous class also, but we are going to look into it in detail. So what I'm saying here, the x is going to vary in a sinusoidal wave, and that is going to give you as a cos omega naught t, where omega naught is the angular frequency. We shall now find the condition that the angular frequency omega naught must satisfy in order to ensure that the function in equation 2 solve the simple harmonic oscillator equation 1. So this is what I'm going to do this. So now let us take the first derivative of your equation number 2. So what I can say, the first derivative of this equation number 2 will give me the velocity. So dx upon dt is equal to how much? A omega naught sine omega naught t. So this is your velocity, and if I'm going to take the second order differential, then it is going to give us the acceleration. And what is the value of the acceleration that we'll have? Minus a omega naught square cos omega naught t, and a cos omega naught t, you see equation number 2 is equal to how much? X. So this is what I am saying is equal to minus omega naught square x. So I had told you in the previous class, for a simple harmonic motion to execute, it is essential that acceleration, that is d square x upon dt square, is nothing, so acceleration must be equal to minus omega square x, where omega is your angular frequency. So this is what you are able to see over here, but again we are going to we are going to verify this, right? So what we can do over here, the value that we have calculated here, that is d square x upon dt square, and the x equal to a cos omega naught t, this value I'm going to substitute in your equation number 1. So substitute the second derivative, thus the second expression in the equation number 3, and the position of the equation number 2 into the simple harmonic oscillator in your equation number 1, and therefore your equation number 1 can be given as, so d square x upon dt square is equal to, you see your equation number 3, minus omega naught square x. So this is what I have written, minus omega naught square x, because a cos omega naught t is nothing, it is your x. So this is what I have written on the d square x upon dt square is equal to minus k by m into x. So minus k upon m into x equal to how much? A cos omega naught into t. So now what we can see here, a cos omega naught t and a cos omega naught t will get cancelled. So what we are getting, minus omega naught square is equal to k by m. So omega naught is equal to k by m. So therefore what I'm going to say here, this value of k by m, this k by m is going to represent your angular frequency, and therefore we are able to satisfy that. That is what we can say. The real solution of this can be given as x equal to a cos naught omega t. So the solution of the differential equation d square x upon dt square plus k by m into x is equal to 0. Its solution can be given as a cos omega naught t, where omega naught will equal to your k by m. Now, so this is going to be, so naturally this is going to be valid only when equation number 1 is going to be valid only when omega naught is equal to root under k by m, and this is what I have written over here. So now I have got the value of omega naught, right? So naturally what I can say, this is your sinusoidal wave, that is its displacement is going to vary with equation number 2, and we can say it is your a cos naught omega, a cos omega naught into t. So if I have got this angular frequency, therefore what we can do, we can find out its time period. What will the time period? T equal to 2 pi upon omega naught. So 2 pi omega naught we have seen in the previous slide. This value of the omega naught I have substituted and rearranged, and I am getting the time period of this motion will equal to t equal to 2 pi root under m by k. So this is the value that we are going to say. So now what we are coming in conclusion over here is, if we have the differential equation d square x upon dt square plus k upon m into x is equal to 0, then its solution can be given as x equal to a cos omega naught t, where omega naught is equal to root under k by m, and it is your angular frequency. But then from where the phase has come, you must be knowing that if the wave is moving, the equation is given by a cos omega naught t plus phi. So from where the concept of the phase has come, so let us try to understand from where the concept of the phase has come. Anyway, before I go over there how the phase has come, first let us see the graphical representation of the position that we have seen in the previous slide, the velocity that we have seen, and acceleration that we have seen. So position is equal to a x equal to, that's your position, x equal to a cos omega naught t. So this is your position, and this is your graphical representation for position at x equal to 0. So at x equal to 0, it has got a particular amplitude a naught, and it is just before releasing the object. That is, if you have, let us suppose you are getting in SHM, here you have a simple pendulum, and this simple pendulum, here you have bob, and you have taken a particular position. So it is over here, and just before releasing, this is your amplitude, and this amplitude I am going to represent by a. So here that is your amplitude, and that is your position. Then its velocity, as we have seen, will equal to, so what we have to do, we have to differentiate this. So if I am going to differentiate this, what it will be, minus a omega sine omega t, minus a omega sine omega t. So what will be the maximum velocity? So what we can say, the maximum velocity here will equal to your omega into a. What will the maximum velocity? Omega into a will be your maximum velocity. All right, because for the maximum, theta should be equal to 90 degree. So this sine omega t should be equal to 1, and this value should be naturally be equal to your minus Vm. So this is what I have represented over here. Then again, if I am going to differentiate this value of the velocity, if again I am going to differentiate, then I will be getting the acceleration, which I have already shown you in the previous slide. So what I have done here, what I require to do, this is again required to be differentiated. So if I am going to differentiate this, here you had a omega sine omega t. So now what you are going to get, a omega, and again omega will come, and cos omega t, and for that I am going to put the value of x. right? And in this way, the maximum value of the acceleration that I'm going to get is your omega square a. So this is your graphical representation. Now you see it carefully. Now this is your position and this is your velocity. So position and velocity are at a phase of pi by 2. So always position and velocity are at a phase of pi by 2. So they are never together. And similarly, the position and the acceleration is at a phase of 180 degree, right? So if you are comparing the position with the velocity and position with the acceleration, they are always in the phase. Position and velocity, that is the displacement and velocity, are in the phase of pi by 2, and displacement and acceleration is in the phase of pi, right? So these are your phase relationship with the displacement, with the velocity, and with the acceleration, right? How this phase has come, this is what I am going to look into in the next slide. So let's try to understand it with a little clarity. So now this is your phasor representation. So we have seen that one of the possible solution can be x equal to a cos omega naught into t. X equal to a cos omega naught into t, where omega naught is equal to root under k by m. So what I have done, omega naught value I have already calculated. So this value of the omega naught I have substituted, or its velocity therefore can be given as, just you differentiate this. So if I am going to differentiate this, root under k by m, and this will equal to cos, differential of the cos will equal to sine, right? So this is your velocity. So this is your velocity, right? So the possible solution is x equal to a cos root under k by m into t, as we have seen in the previous slide. Then therefore its corresponding velocity is equal to minus root under k by m a sine root under k by m into t. So naturally we have seen in the previous slide that this position and velocity are always in the phase of pi by 2, right? Now whether this equation that we have taken is going to satisfy all the conditions, let us look into. Now you note the, let us suppose this I am saying this is your equation 1 temporarily. Let us suppose I am assuming this is your equation 1 and this I am representing this is your equation number 2. So these two equations I am representing for a possible solution. Now what we can say, at t equal to 0, now you see the equation number 1. So if I am going to say t equal to 0, so here cos 0, this will become your cos 0, and cos 0 you are getting cos 0 is 1. So at t equal to 0, the displacement is equal to your a, and a is nothing, that is your amplitude. This is what I have written over here, right? That is at t equal to 0, that is just before releasing the object, you have got the displacement is equal to a, that is your amplitude. But now you look at your equation number 2. At t equal to 0, sine 0 is equal to 0, right? So it does mean this velocity vx into t is becoming 0. So here the position is coming to your a, right, which is nothing, this is your amplitude, but the velocity is coming to be 0. So it is not telling us anything about the initial velocity. So if I am going to take the possible solution, as we have seen in the previous slide, as x equal to a cos omega naught into t, and then I am going to find out its velocity, then the position relation I am getting correct. Of course at t equal to 0, it has got, that is just before releasing the object, it has got a particular value of the amplitude. That value is correct, but then it should have also some value of the initial velocity. It is not giving us any information about the initial velocity. Let's look into by the other way. Let us suppose now I am going to represent this with the sine wave. So now I am going to say x equal to b sine. So instead of the amplitude a, I have taken here b root under k by m into t, that is b sine omega naught into t. So here I have taken the sine wave. There I had taken a displacement as the cos wave. Now here I am taking the displacement as sine wave. What is this corresponding velocity? Its corresponding velocity is equal to how much? That is dx upon dt equal to root under k by m b cos root under k by m into t. This is your corresponding velocity. Again you check it. What we are finding over here, at t equal to 0, right, sine 0 is equal to 0. So you don't have any initial amplitude. So here it is not giving you any initial amplitude is 0, but if I'm going to put its velocity component and I'm putting again t equal to 0, then at t equal to 0, cos 0 is equal to 1, and therefore I'm getting the amplitude is equal to omega naught into b, because root under k by m is equal to your omega naught. So omega naught into b. So we are getting the initial velocity. You don't have any position, right? That is, you don't have the displacement. Without displacement, how you can have the velocity? So velocity, you cannot have the velocity. Therefore, this equation is also not able to satisfy the differential equation, right? So if I am going to take both the displacement and amplitude, so both the equation together is not being satisfied, right? Either with the sine wave or with the cos wave, right? Then what is the solution? What is the solution for this? Right? So this is what I have written here. The above solution, the above solution has its initial value of x equal to 0 at t equal to 0, and velocity is non-zero. Therefore, it does not satisfy the initial velocity condition, right? So now, so let's see what is the solution for this. Therefore, now what we are saying, the equation that we have taken, x equal to a sine omega t or x equal to a cos omega t, is not correct. In fact, we should take both sine and cos together, right? That is, both the sine wave and cosine wave individually are not capable to explain the SHM, right, appropriately. Consequently, one can obtain the following general equation for the displacement. So the general equation should be x equal to c cos omega naught t. Here let us suppose we are saying still omega naught only. So here we are saying x equal to c cos omega naught t plus d sine omega naught t. So this should be your solution. Naturally, here if I am going to find out its velocity, so here you have got both the sine component and cos component. So if the sine component is coming 0, cos component you have to satisfy the condition of the velocity, and if the cos component is 0, sine component you have to satisfy the value for the displacement. So this should be a correct solution, but still we require to check it whether it is really correct solution or it's not a correct solution. So we can say, here we can say the displacement should be written as x equal to c cos omega naught t plus d sine omega naught t, right? Now we have one trigonometric identity where you have the cos a plus b, right? Cos a plus b is equal to cos a into cos b minus sine a into sine b. So what I have taken here, I have taken a cos omega t plus phi. So if I am going to apply the same identity, that here a is common, so a is going to multiply in both the side. So what I have written, a cos omega t into cos phi minus a sine omega t into sine phi. So I have done nothing, I have applied cos a plus b, so cos a into cos b minus sine a into sine b. Okay, so now what do? You compare the coefficients of equation number 5, right? And then let us see what we can say. Now here you see a cos, here a cos phi, here you have got the a and here you have got cos phi. A cos phi is equal to what we can say, c, because here also you have cos omega t, here also you have cos omega t. So if I am going to compare the coefficient, what we can say? We can say a cos phi is equal to c, and similarly what we can say, here a sin phi is equal to d. If you are going to compare this, and over here in the equation number 5, what I can say, minus a sin phi is equal to d, right? So these are the coefficients that we have equated from equation number 5 and equation number 6, right? Now you square and add these two equations, that is a equal to cos phi equal to c and minus a sin phi equal to d. You square and add. So what you are going to get, a square cos square phi plus a square sin square phi. So a square you can take common, cos square phi plus sin square phi is equal to 1. So what you are getting, a square is equal to c square plus d square. So if you are going to solve this, what you are getting, a equal to under root c square plus d square. So what you are getting a resultant amplitude, and resultant amplitude is going to be sum of c square plus d square. All right. Similarly, what is the phase between them? So if you divide these two equations again, let us suppose this is your equation number A, this is your equation number A, and this is your equation number B. So you have square and added the equation number A and B, and again I am going to divide this equation number A and B. So sine phi upon cos phi, tan phi, and here minus you have. So here I have taken D has gone up, C has come down. So phi is equal to tan inverse minus D by C. This is the phase between the component C and D, right? So therefore what we can say from equation number 5, this the x equal to C cos omega t plus D sin omega t can be given as x equal to A cos omega t plus phi, where A is nothing, is equal to your C square plus D square, and phi is nothing. Here this is your tangent, that is this is your phi between the amplitude C and D. So what I am finding, whenever a particle is going to move, it will have both the components of the sine and cos, and it will have the two different amplitudes, right? It will have the amplitude C and D. If these two amplitudes are going to combine, then it is going to give us a resultant amplitude, and that resultant amplitude I am going to say is your A. So A is the sum of the two amplitude, and between these two amplitude you will have a phase, and that phase will be your phi, and this is how we can say the solution should be x equal to A cos omega t plus phi. So A cos omega t plus phi is going to totally explain the previous case that we had seen, that is the sine was able to explain, the cos was not able to explain, that is the displacement component was getting explained properly, velocity component was not getting explained, and vice versa, right? So that was coming because we had not considered the concept of the phase, but here now we have considered the concept of the phase, and that analogy has been removed. So the actual solution will be x equal to A cos omega t plus phi, right? And now you see how they will be in the phase. So what is happening here? You see the equation this, where a mass is going to oscillate. So here mass is oscillating up and down, and here you have the two waves, which is always in the phase, and one shown with your red and other shown with your blue, and how these two components are there, and they are always in the phase. Somewhere the phase is also becoming zero, right, as you can see over there. So without animation it is very difficult to show. So and then it is going to trace the path of ellipse, right? So what I'm saying, if it is oscillating like this, it is going to trace the path of ellipse. So in this way, that whenever a particle is going to oscillate simple harmonically, it will have the two component of your amplitude. One component we can say as a C, another component we can say D, and between them we have a phase, and as you can see from this animation, that is the phase that is there between them, right? Let us see with another one diagram. So again here I have shown you both the sine wave and cos wave when it is moving there. So now here you can see between the sine wave and cos wave, here you have got a particular phase, and that phase is nothing, this is your phase phi, right? And that is very, very important to understand, that when a particle is going to execute simple harmonic motion, it will have both the component, sine component and cos component, and between them there is a phase, and this is how we write it's a displacement equation equal to A cos omega t plus phi, or A sine omega t plus phi, and this is how the concept of the phase has come, and it is going to be applicable everywhere. Therefore now I hope you must have understood from where the concept of the phase has come, and the phasor diagram, particularly in your electrical engineering, become very, very important even in your electronics engineering, where you are taking the electromagnetic waves, right? So every time you are going to consider that. So to solve this mathematical form, you always require to take its phase. So hopefully the basic concept of the phase you must have understood, and that was the purpose of this lecture. Now from the next class I am going to properly again start the solution of the different differential equation in case of the damped oscillation. Right now, whatever we have done was completely undamped. So now we are going to start the damped oscillation. Naturally, you are going to put another one variable, so the differential equation will become little more complicated, and that we will be saying in much detail. Thank you very much.